Today I want to look back at Zero's very first arc. It's short, but I think it's still one of the strongest introductions in modern anime. The household name which strikes awe if you're cultured isekai anime fan or masterpiece if you're a fan of well-written anime in general. If that's your jam, hop on and let's get this video rolling. Just a heads up before we get into the video, while there won't be spoilers in this video, we will discuss some out-of-story context like the author Q&A and such. So if you absolutely cannot tolerate that, feel free to click off the video. At the time of making this video July 2026, even though there are 4 seasons of Re:Zero. With Season 4's second cover is coming out in a few days. Now among all of them, what's so special about Season 1? In a word, everything. Season 1 was the entry point through which we are introduced to the story or more appropriately the world of Re:Zero. Its arc 1 spanning across episode 1 through 3 is fairly short by even Re:Zero's own standards. Regardless of that, according to the author Tappei Nagatsuki, the most important arcs of Re:Zero is the first arc and the last arc. If it wasn't obvious before, today we are gonna talk about arc 1 and my experience of watching it. Which is fascinating by the way, specifically because when I watched Re:Zero for the first time, I was like, oh, finally a protagonist who feels like watching, what if I got isekai'd into another world? Young me wasn't prepared for the absolute cluster FK of a ride which I'll later describe as Re:Zero. I mean it's not bad. I don't even hate it. In fact I love Re:Zero. But I did feel like it was really a one-of-a-kind experience at that time. It's true even today. The thing I really liked about the arc 1 was its cast of characters. Or the lack thereof. The arc 1 rocks so well, with just a few characters. The voice acting was the highlight, even in arc 1. Which, for some reason I watched it in Japanese and the voice acting was fan-freaking tasting. Getting into the meat of arc 1. The first episode was not a normal episode. It was 50 minutes. Back in 2020 when I was watching season 1, I was so used to 24-minute episodes as a standard that it took me completely by surprise. I couldn't help but giggle at that. The contents of the first episode itself was from an anime-only perspective at that time was quite fine. I didn't notice any obvious cut content and such. The first scene was Subaru's mom saying bye and telling him to take care before he left. Subaru just walked away just like that, which was a nice foreshadowing considering what was later explored in Season 2 Part 2. The next shopping trip to the convenience store was a nice touch. But what made me pause wasn't them. It was the transition to the world of Re:Zero. Like let's all take a moment to reflect on how weird that actually was. One moment Subaru was walking standing by the roadside waiting for the signal to turn green and when he blinked, he was isekai'd. That's it. I know it's unusual and many fans of Re:Zero might think so as well. But what was especially odd was how fast Subaru adapted to his new circumstances. I understand that he was an otaku and such, I have caught up completely in anime. As for WN I read up to the end of arc 8. So that makes sense. What doesn't make sense is from the perspective of an anime only. I just played episode 1 of the anime, and it's not even been a few minutes. He is already acting like he knows everything and that was weird. But as the episode continues, I slowly got used to Subaru. I'm not really sure how, but it happened. Him being full of himself, getting beaten by Dumber and Dumbest was actually hilarious and made me laugh. The scene following that, the kind girl comes to the rescue. Who was the heroine Emilia herself? It was welcoming after what I've seen. But I personally don't understand why Subaru is so obsessed with her from first sight. That was puzzling to me at the start. She was a kind girl who helped him and even though she was in a hurry and had her own messy things to worry about. I understand that he is fell head over heels for her. But the intensity was breathtaking considering how long they have spent time with each other. I have to say, throughout the arc 1 my favorite character was actually Elsa Granhired. Every scene in her presence is just electric and I just love the energy of watching her on-screen presentation and such. It was very entertaining. The fact that really made me fall in love with Re:Zero was how it presents the trauma of Subaru like slowly getting accustomed to his ability of return by death. It works so well that I struck through and decided to watch the whole show just for that. The way his facial expressions are shown in the anime with his disassociation kicking in first and he didn't even realize that something is wrong in his second loop was just a chef kiss. That was just what I was looking for. Not only that, every second that passes by watching Re:Zero is also a visual treat. The animation is clean and easy to follow. Fights are actually drawn and look awesome for what was produced back in 2016. I also have to mention this, I'm not that knowledgeable about anime production, quality control and such. So take my opinion however you will. Other than that, I have to mention the OST. It was completely in sync with the story that was being told. It made me feel things. Honestly that's exactly why I remember Re:Zero Arc 1 so well even though it's been a long time since I've revisited it. Felt, man what a character she was. She may be tiny in stature but she's more than that. Everything from how she lives and her screen presence was just consistent. That's what I really like about, the information gets trickled down not just slam the brakes. It's exposition time. Despite Arc 1 being fairly small and being Arc 1, it has a surprising amount of lore packed into it. In Arc 1, we get to know about Subaru and his abilities, the existence of spirits and the contracts and such, the lore about the royal insignia, and maybe a few others which I've failed to name here. Another fact I really love about Arc 1 was how it portrayed Emilia. It doesn't matter whether she bumped into Subaru or not. She'll go out of her way to help others. It was a really cute and interesting characterization for a female lead, fitting her role as the heroine of the story. Most important of all is the climax of Arc 1. Like Reinhard looking at the moon and saying those cryptic words was just simply ominous. Tonight's maybe the last chance to gaze calmly at the moon. What does that mean? It's still a mystery to me. Even after reading until Arc 8, I still don't have a solid understanding of what he meant by that. And if I had time I'll yap on and on about ReZero. That's just how deep of an impression it left on me. But let's stop here for today. But now that I think about it, 8 years later, Arc 1 is still one of my favorite opening arcs in anime. It introduced a world that felt unique, a protagonist that kept breaking in believable ways, and a story that only got more rewarding the deeper I went. That's why I still wanted to talk about it today. With all that said, this is Ray signing off, and you are watching Ray no Sakai. Thank you very much everyone.